This book is meant to cause some trouble. This book is meant to force people to think.
Professor Ian Plimer is not one to mince words. Touring the country to promote his book, Heaven and Earth, he's declared it demolishes the science proclaiming global warming and compares climate science to a fundamentalist greenie religion. Its Bible, he says, is the latest report from the UN International Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC.
Unfortunately, I think we now live in a world where much science is politicised, and I think that will damage science greatly.
Ian Plimer's no stranger to grand confrontations. He once took to court some creationists who claimed to have discovered the whereabouts of Noah's Ark. He's also a tireless promoter of geology and of the important economic role played by the mining industry. He's a director of 2 mining and exploration companies, and last year he warned the industry would be wiped out by the federal government's proposed carbon emissions trading scheme.
Well, it'll probably destroy it totally. It'll create massive unemployment and we'll have a change of government.
In his new book, with more than 500 pages and more than 2,000 footnotes, Ian Plimer makes the following controversial claims. History shows there's no link between carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and temperature increase. There's no global warming. Temperatures have been dropping since 1998. Climate science has ignored geology and astronomy and has fatally flawed climate models. And we can live with vastly more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere quite comfortably. It's all happened before. But he's swimming against a tide of peer-reviewed science, including thousands of internationally renowned experts, like Australia's Kurt Lambeck, who's Professor of Geophysics at the ANU and who's also the President of the Australian Academy of Science. Professor Lambeck is often cited as a key reference on sea levels in Ian Plimer's book.
He has ignored a lot of information, and he has twisted, I believe, a lot of information. There are a lot of references to various papers, some of mine included in that, but many of them are simply misquoted or misrepresented. There are instances where he draws attention to what somebody may have done. That work has been long refuted in the literature, but he makes no reference to that. He draws attention to issues that were questions that were raised perhaps 10, 15 years ago, but forgets to mention that these issues have long been resolved. The science, it's sloppy. I think there's no other way. I would normally say go back and write it again.
Barry Brook, Professor of Climate Change at Adelaide University, was surprised to find his research was also cited as a footnote, even though in other parts of the book, Ian Plimer claims climate scientists have got it completely wrong.
He said every one of those scientists is wrong. And I say that's an extremely bold and, I might say, arrogant claim to make. Now, he may be right that in some areas there's a lot of uncertainty and certain prevailing scientific views may be wrong. But he's saying every one of them is wrong, and he's right in every case. And he's stating it in a book, not in the scientific literature. I find that quite an astounding statement to make.
And what of the claim that scientists are part of a new religious-like dogma?
Well, to be honest, scientists just think it's rather silly. I mean, to imagine there's some grand conspiracy where all of the scientists get together each year and say, now remember, stick to the party line, it's just absurd.
The claim that global temperatures have dropped since 1998, thus disproving a warming trend, is one of many rejected emphatically by one of the world's leading climate scientists, David Caroli.
Temperatures have dropped a very small amount since 1998, both in surface temperatures and in atmospheric temperatures measured from satellites. But that doesn't mean that global warming has stopped. The temperatures, if we average from 1998 to 2008, they're warmer than the previous 10 years or the 10 years before that, or any 10-year period over at least the last 150 years.
The book is already in its 3rd print run after only a week and a half. Margot O'Neill, Lateline.